Woke up this morning with light in my eyes and realized it was still dark outside. Was a light coming down from the sky? Don't know who or why. Must be those strangers that come every night. The saucer-shaped lights put people uptight. Leave blue-green footprints that glow in the dark. I hope they get home alright. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along? I won't do anything wrong. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along for a ride? Woke up this morning, was feeling quite weird. Had flies in my beer, my toothpaste was smeared. Opened my window, they'd written my name. Said, well, so long, we'll see you again. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along? I won't do anything wrong. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along for a ride?
Dying to take you the void we come a-warping. Across the fields of stars we soar. We pledge to land and come spaceship. And when at last our mission's finished, in duty homeward shall we fly. Our glory cannot be diminished. Back to the heavens in our mighty spaceship.
Hold on. Hit the button. Okay, now we should be getting. Yeah, I had the sound turned off while we were doing this. Okay, so again, it'll take about 20 seconds for the responses to come in. I would ask them to hold up their fingers, but we can't see them.
Well, that's a good thing they could read lips.
JM just said that.
That's what he said. Yeah.
I'm not only the writer, producer, director, and model maker, I'm also the engineer.
Got it?
Let's just real quick see if... okay, they got sound. All right, guys. This is Max from Max's Models. We have Steve and Roy of Steve's Model Mania. And finally, after many promises, we have the great Dan Monroe of Movies, Music, and Monsters.
I wouldn't go that far, but it's a pleasure to be here.
Dan, first off, before we get onto the model stuff and the monsters and all that other good stuff, I just want to tell you I'm really impressed with what you've done with your channel. Aside from having a great presentation, just you've exploded.
Yeah, you know, it's briefly, it's a funny story. Last December, like 9 months ago, I put up a video on the robot. I always had a YouTube channel. It was one of those channels that you just had for family and friends, and you put up videos, and people, I had 25 subscribers for the last 12 years. But I put up a video on him, and I got a notification like the next day from YouTube that said, "Hey, you've gone from 20 subscribers to like 500 overnight." I said, "Wait." So I figured something's here. So they said if you get to 1,000, you can monetize and become a channel. So me being me, I've always been kind of business minded. I spent a couple of days looking at other channels and figuring out what I liked, what I didn't like, and eventually just went with the green screen background, talking about whatever. I do have a history in performance here in Buffalo, and so I amalgamated them all together, and we just crossed 121,000 in 8 months. It's nuts, crazy. But again, and I tell my audience this all the time, and I think it's so true, there is no way we could do what we do without them, because without them, there'd be none of this. And I really, especially using the community page on YouTube, which is great to stay in contact with your audience, I tell them constantly how important they are. And yeah, it seems to be working.
I agree. Kind of the same story. For years, had a YouTube channel, again, 100 subscribers maybe. Then one day I did these history videos on kit model companies. I got some traction, and then COVID hit, and boom. And
you got the niche.
Now for reasons I won't bore anybody with, I don't monetize because this is a hobby for me. Right. Although I retire in less than 2 years, so I'm starting to learn the ropes. This is probably what I'm going to be my retirement job.
How many subscribers do you have now?
About 29,000.
Oh my God! Yeah, for sure.
But
just be careful with the copyright stuff. Contact me before you go live, and I'll tell you do's and don'ts.
I actually want to, when we're at another time, I want to go into detail because I've got some really bad ideas I want to run past you.
Lovely. I love bad ideas.
Bad ideas are the best ones. But a friend of mine, who a very dear friend of mine, had a YouTube channel, had about as many subscribers, and due to the changes in the algorithm, it got to where it wasn't paying, given the amount of work he was putting in. But sure. By not monetizing, I get away with bloody murder. I use all the music I want and everything else. I've had maybe, out of a couple thousand videos, I've had maybe 4 taken down. I've gotten 1 copyright strike in 10 years.
Well, there are clever ways around it. Like, for example, I never ever use video clips. I use only pictures.
Yeah, that's...
It kind of gives the channel a little bit more... everybody uses video clips, so let's try pictures instead. And, you're not going to get a copyright strike. And you can use music as long as it's under 8 seconds and you talk over it.
Yeah.
So that's the secret.
The other thing is that I... virtually all my videos are banned in Russia because there's some kind of copyright thing there. It's Russia. Who cares? Nothing against Russians. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, the point is that I use a lot of covers. Sometimes you get away by finding people with covers. Sure. Now, speaking of robots, nice segue, huh? I wanted to kick off. I built, I don't know if you guys can see it because I'm not looking at myself, but this is the Mobius robot. And, they say B9 robot. My understanding is he's never actually addressed as B9 in the show.
Well, that's a complex question. The robot was known as Robot until I believe somewhere in the 2nd or 3rd season he was one time called Robot Model M3. Okay. B9, was it actually used in the show? Yeah, I think it was.
Okay.
Actually, I do think it was.
But
however, on the set of the show, he was called Claude. Not a lot of people know that. Well, I'll tell you why. I was in the 80s. My brother was the first guy to write a book on Lost in Space. Paul Monroe. It was called the Lost in Space Handbook, and because of that, we got to travel around all over the country, and we became really close friends with the cast of Lost in Space. And Kevin Burns, who helped, the guy who owned the original robot, helped me build him. And Jonathan told us, and it's a story he would tell, that, well, yes, indeed, I would go to the robots every day on the set, and I noticed he had claws. So I decided I was going to call him Claude. So they called him Claude.
You heard it here first, folks. Well, now this is what I wanted to get into. Technically, this is a kit model channel, so I try to always steer it back that way, but this is actually where you and I have, the Venn diagram has a lot of overlap. Yeah. The only kits of the other two robots are from specialty houses, little resin things, small specialty manufacturers. The only, and I have my little 1/48 scale one also is designed to go with the Chariot. And this is, it's funny, the kit was not in production until the show was off the air, which is odd. Plenty of deploys, but the kit model didn't come out for years.
You're talking about the original Aurora stuff?
Aurora one.
Oh, the Aurora one. Yeah, it didn't come out.
The Aurora one when the show was on.
Yes.
Are you sure? Okay, I thought the show had gone off. Okay.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. It was the Jupiter 2 they didn't make a model of.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
But I do think, didn't the Japanese make one?
Okay, that is a real rabbit hole.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right? That weird white.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
They also made a model of some. They made some unauthorized Star Trek models that I'm sure they never paid a dime in royalties on.
Sure.
The Japanese are kind of in their own universe. And back in those days, you couldn't get it here because you remember how hard it was to get Japanese kits over here in the 60s and 70s. But I have a theory that I want to run by you. Everybody loves Claude. Let's call him Claude because I like that. Everybody loved Claude. He had personality. He was, some say he was AI, some fans think he was actually sentient. The point being that I don't think it went that far. The show didn't get that deep into it. But the follow-on robots from the movie and the remake of the TV show, there's nothing to them. The robot in my opinion, the robot in the movie, one reason nobody want to model, first off, it aesthetically is not very pleasing. I got a better picture. I don't think it's aesthetically very pleasing, even if it may be more functional. But sorry, Steve, he's over your face.
You're talking about the Hopkins '97 movie?
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. That robot. Well, I mean, they wanted a big thing that would eventually get knocked down to a little thing that was more or less supposed to look more like the TV robot, which really didn't. But I have the movie. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not going to trash it. But a lot of people do like that movie. I wasn't a fan of the robot design, but at least they got Dick to do the voice, which was awesome. Dick Tufeld, who did the voice of the original, reprised that for that movie.
Well, and that gets into can you see the ships over here? I don't know if you have my two models.
I can see the Jupiter.
Okay. And I have my one from the movie. These were gifts from viewers. Probably more we can get into, but it's just my opinion that one reason that people and the new one is in the recent television show they made, it was of course an alien soldier. And again, I'm not going to trash the movies or the TV shows because they had a lot going for them, but I feel that the robot was a character in the original television show, and not really so much because in the movie, the '97 movie, all he did was once they deactivated him, he was just basically an avatar for Will.
Right.
And of course, then you go down the rabbit hole, the whole Dr. Smith thing. And in the new television series, he's just completely disconnected from the original, which was a character and had personality.
Well, true. A couple things on that. How many seasons were there of the TV show? 3?
3.
Okay, three. I really enjoyed the first season, and I think I watched about half of the second, and then for some reason I lost interest and I stopped. But, Kevin Burns was the guy who got that whole thing going. Kevin, executive at Fox. If it weren't for Kevin Burns, none of this stuff, the reissues of the models and the toys, Kevin did all of that. And he was directly involved with how that show went down, and he felt that if Irwin Allen were alive today, that what we saw in this new Netflix Lost in Space is exactly what Irwin would have done. And I do think they got one thing right. It was a guy in a suit. Like, that's great.
Yes.
So I will give it that. The way it moved, it was, an actor. I was hoping it wasn't going to be CGI, and it wasn't. But yeah, it was an alien robot. But that's Kevin could. Well, right before Jonathan died, Kevin Burns was planning a reunion called The Voyage Home with the original cast, the original robot. Very quickly, it was the story, it takes place today, where the Jupiter and the family has been gone for years. But the family from the planet launched the robot out into the space pod like a message in a bottle. Mm-hmm. Picked up by a new cast of younger people that go back and eventually rescue the Robinsons, except for John, who was dead in real life, so they just said he had a freezing tube malfunction. And they were literally just getting ready to film, and Jonathan died.
Ah.
So that would have carried, that would have taken the series in a whole new direction. But, whatever you think of the Netflix one, it's okay. It's all right. I don't mind,
I think I'm showing my age and my love of nostalgia and these old kits, because my complaints with the new one are, oh gosh, how can I say this without getting canceled? They're complaints you expect from an old geezer like me who grew up with the show, and I'm like, why did you change this? Why did you change that? You had all this great stuff. It didn't need to be altered with teen angst and family drama and all that. And the robot, I mean, he could have still been something they brought with them.
Right.
I don't know. I think what it is I'm one of those guys who flips on the remake, hoping to see a remake of the original, and what you're seeing is the original being used just as a basis, as an outline to write a whole new story, or reimagining.
I was often wondering whether or not they might go the Star Trek route. J.J. Abrams made his own version of Star Trek, whatever you think of it, good or bad, but it was very reminiscent of the series. I think that was, and then look at, wasn't there a Brady Bunch movie or something? And it was
I take pride in having not seen it, but apparently it was almost a shot-for-shot copy. I mean, it was
super cool, but but again, our kids today are going to watch that.
And that's it. The new ones weren't made for me. They were made for a new audience, and I get it. I think they've done the same thing with most franchises, and I guess what I would like to have. Here's kind of where I don't want. Is that the fact that the B9s still sell, the Mobius B9s, when you can find them. And I was very fortunate, a glue trooper up in Canada, Garfield, we call him Orange Tabby, because his name's Garfield, sent me this as a gift, and I built it as quickly as I could, and this is the one with the good glass brain on it. Some of them came with a plastic one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to talk to you about that one. I have a Mobius kit that I haven't built yet, but I'm waiting for someone to find me one of the bubbles. They're impossible to find.
I made that very observation. You couldn't even find them on eBay. And Garfield had that in his stash, and he kindly sent it to me. He's a very generous guy. And
I'm not really sure why that's the case. You've got so many model builders and scratch builders. Why can't somebody do it?
Good question. I think part of it was
when we get off the call today, go make 100 bubbles. Just do it.
If I knew how to blow glass, because that's the actual, glass one. And of course, when I took it out of the box, it comes in its own little white box, and I was like, ooh, this must go on the holy silk pillow, and it's time to be put on, and one must put on gloves, and say your three prayers before you.
But even if it was a clear acrylic, just something one piece would be fantastic.
It is, and apparently when these came out, the one-piece ones, you had to pay a substantial bonus. I forget it was $30 or something more, or $20 more if you wanted the clear one. And I don't know if they, you know what I think it is? I think they basically, I'm just guessing, but I think they kind of saturated the market. Everybody that wanted one got one, and then so they went out of production. Right. But you're absolutely right. If someone could pop those bubbles, they'd sell at least 100 of them. And everybody knows got one of these kits is looking for it.
Now, when you build your models, do you go in afterwards and like fill in the seams and Bondo over the top?
Generally speaking, I do all that. This one, because this is the second one I built. You're gonna love this. My wife has a Facebook page, Monica K Star Doll. She hand makes 16-inch dolls, mostly television characters, are all one-offs, hand painted.
Wow.
It's quite the little cottage industry. But she's done the Robinson Girl several times, and she did Mud's Women, and sometimes I'll make props for it and stuff. Made Jenna Urso's blaster with using a properly scaled Luger. Looked really good too. Anyways, so,
how do you get around copyright on that? Or
when you're making a one-off, you're so small, no one cares.
Gotcha.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's always inspired by.
I got it.
And so I built one for her before. Actually, I built, well, when she made it didn't scale out quite right, but it was good enough. But she had a regular customer. She, sent it to them, and oh God, they were so thrilled. So when I built this one, I knew the pitfalls. And this kit, believe it or not, the only place you have to worry about, all the seams are in joint lines where they hide. There's no putty needed.
Oh, good.
Except here. These are
the front and the back. Yeah,
and I sanded and scraped and scraped and scraped and scraped and finally gave up because I couldn't get it that smooth. So I got that aluminum colored Mylar tape and put that over, and it worked perfectly.
Now, the collar section above the mouth, are those individual collar pieces, or is that one solid piece?
You talking about right here? Or
okay, I call that his mouth because it blinks above that.
Okay.
Above that, right there, that thing, the collar.
Yeah.
That's what I call the collar.
Yes, that's the collar. That's two pieces.
One piece?
Nope, that's two pieces, top and bottom. But fortunately, the seam line is right at the apex, and I'm going to be honest, it's probably the worst fitting part on the kit.
Yeah.
I had more trouble with that, and you just sort of pretend it's not there.
Do you do any sculpting?
She does, using mold sculpt.
So what we need is her to sculpt first season legs for that model. She would blow them out the door. And it wouldn't be hard to do, but the first season legs on the Lost in Space robot only they were completely separate. All of the toys and all of the models were always based on the long distance robot, where they were connected in the front, about halfway down, then they split. But in the first season, they were split all the way down. And that's the look that I really like, and a lot of people do.
So now, you have this piece, and this piece. Or actually, I think it was one piece. But so you're saying the split needs to go all the way up to the top band.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. That the way I would do that is get another one of these and modify it, and then make a mold from that.
Right. Do it. Do it right now. Just go.
Fine. Let me go get my plaster. But the kit it goes together very well, and. But I pre-painted the drum once it was done, and one thing I had to do to this, be careful. Now you can't really see because I didn't put the lighting kit in it because the lighting kit's about $50 and it's very complicated. I've seen them at model shows. The guys have fully lit up, and I'm like, it's impressive. Painting the hieroglyphics in the brain was an operation in its own right, but they actually had that lit up. So you've got somebody that's got a laser at their house. They had to use a laser because
right, sure.
The level, some of these model builders, I mean, their stuff should be in museums. But the one thing I would warn those that I do have all the decals on the lighted buttons, the Beta 2 and all that stuff.
How did you do that? Are they decals that come with it?
There are decals. I was careful to get the colors right. Now, I diluted the colors just a little bit so they give a hint of translucency. They're small enough it doesn't really matter.
The lettering on those, are they correct?
I believe they are, but I got...
plus, D10 minus, and all that?
Yes, I believe that's correct. Oops, wrong one.
Just so I know, when I see the 3 cameras in the corner, whatever's green is what they're seeing. Is that correct?
What?
Yes.
Like when I look, okay,
Yes.
so whichever one is green is the one that's
Yes.
quote unquote going out. Got it.
Yeah. I think if I could find it super quick, that was 5. I remember actually because I just downloaded this. I remember my magnificent filing system. 2024. 7th month. 7. Okay. Okay.
So Dan, while Max looks for this,
Yes, sir.
of all the robots that you've done, and you've done many of them because I've watched your videos, what are, like, in your opinion, the top 3?
Robots of all time?
Yeah, in movies and TV.
Oh, well, it's super simple. Believe it or not, in my opinion, it doesn't start with the Lost in Space robot. It starts with Robbie.
Yeah.
Period. Robbie the robot, number 1. Kudos to Fred Barton, the guy who actually builds these things for a living. It's incredible, his work. One of these days, I often tell Fred when I talk to him that the only reason I'm monetized is to get enough money to buy.
And a noble cause that is.
Oh, absolutely. So I would have to say Robbie, Lost in Space, Gort.
Okay.
Gort was a robot. Oh, you know what though, man, I'm leaving a lot out.
Well, I'm going to let you
There's a
know.
lot to pick from.
I'm going to confess a little bit of a dark secret. That no modern, no nerd should let know. But one of my favorites is Tars from Interstellar.
I've never seen it.
Oh my God, he's hilarious. It's like.
Yeah, we all have those robot skeletons in their closets. I love Tweaky from Buck Rogers. He's adorable. I think he's great.
Wasn't that Mel Blanc that voiced that?
Oh, Tobor the robot.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve loves Tobor.
I did a video on Tobor not too long ago.
We saw it.
Yeah, I
Oh,
watched it.
okay, yeah.
Dan, we watch everybody watching right now has probably seen all your videos. I guarantee you, most of my guys are on your subscription list.
I gotcha.
But it's, like I said, there's a lot of crossover, and
Sure, yeah.
you guys make the movies and we build the models. And
What do you guys think of the garage kits that people have made over the years?
Okay, Steve knows more about those than I do, but I will tell you it's really hit and miss because they're, like the name says, garage kits. Some of them are really impressive, and some of them are nightmares.
Well, I just somebody sent me this one. Well, I bought it, but it looked great. It was the Garage Kit King Kong from I think '94 vinyl. But man, does it look like Kong! It's in absolutely incredible detail. And even Bob Burns, the famous Bob Burns, he not only recommended this kit, but he wrote all this stuff for the cool book. Have you ever seen this?
Yes.
Am I right? It's mid '90s.
Yes.
Looks great. Really good shape.
The thing about garage kits are you have to be a skilled modeler because some of them are kind of rough.
Gotcha.
And some of them come with no instructions. So you kind of got to have some modeling skills to be able to figure out how to make this work.
Like those really early phasers in the '80s that people were making, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And one of the other things about garage kits that you have to watch out for is that a lot of these guys will, how can I say, the companies kind of disappear as quick as they pop up. So don't go in there expecting product support.
Well, I would assume that the day of garage kits is more so today because of 3D printing.
You better believe it.
Yes.
It's why can I not find that photo? I can't find it. I have a photo a nice clear one that's a close-up of all the buttons, and it has all the markings. It came on a decal sheet. I think, we're running out of time. Upgrade today.
I had someone who bought a garage kit of Supercar from England.
Oh, is that big one
It was huge, but it came with no directions, and it was resin, and it was vac form, and it was 3 or 4 different types of media. And let me just say, it took me a long time to do it because you'd have to figure everything out. Like how do you keep the wings inside a blow molded or a vac form body that doesn't have any strength? Well, you got to put reinforcements inside. It's not like building a styrene kit where it's just, you know, a limited amount of parts and just screw them together.
Yeah,
You know,
the back.
They're
Yeah, the roughest one that I've got, I don't think you would call it a garage kit, but I think in the early 2000s, there was this company that ripped everybody off called Icon's Replicas. And they promised to produce full-size Lost in Space robots. And a lot of people paid a lot of money to this company, and they went out of business, and they never got their money back. But they were also doing a Jupiter 2 that was big. It was about this big. I think it's the same size as the Mobius one, which is awesome. Doesn't Mobius have a new one?
This is the.
somebody
I think it's
gave me-
18 inches, isn't it, Steve?
yeah,
This
No,
is
mine's bigger than that. Well, anyway,
there's a
there's
2-footer out
more.
there, I believe.
yeah.
And yeah, apparently it's one of the test polls of Icon's Replicas Jupiter 2 kits.
Okay.
It's interesting. I never actually finished it. Because it doesn't look very good, but I mean, it's interesting
Yeah.
part of history.
But what we talk about all the time is that the future of the hobby is 3D print.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we've talked about how there'll be companies in the future that will be quote unquote kit companies, and basically they'll just be companies that will have files that you'll download.
Yeah, it'll be, you know.
Which that happens quite a bit now, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's really starting to gain momentum, and some of the quality of the kits are really good. I mean, you know, as the technology gets better, the price comes down, and you know the different subjects become broader, and the kits are good.
Steve and I have had.
But I'm old, but in a way, I would really. It's kind of like when we lost CDs and records and went to streaming. I miss the box and all the artwork and all. You think those days are gone forever? What I'm saying is, do you think
No.
3D printing will completely kill like Mobius?
Not in our lifetime.
No,
But
what 3D printing will do is it will make another form of getting the kit, because all of these kits that have been made, the molds are still available, and they're still owned by someone, and so they're always being repopped, at different points in time. You know, they forget about them for 20 years, and then they come back out with them again because it's a new, a group of modelers. But 3D printing will take a big piece of that business. They'll coexist.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, similar to the way that the Aurora models were reissued.
right, and I don't know how much Playing Man is paid to be able to use the Aurora logo, but I am one of those guys. I'm that guy. I know it's a repop. I know it's not really Aurora, but it's got the Aurora logo and it's the Aurora mold, and I'll buy it. And
yeah, my brother and I, we were at a convention somewhere in the mid-'80s, and my brother Paul brought to the convention his actual old Aurora Cyclops box, the big one with the cherry.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a guy there, but we didn't have the model. We had the box.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy there who had the model. Yes, yeah, right. He said, "I'll trade you the model for the box." And being idiots, years later, I found out it was not original. Ugh.
Dan, one popular kit that was not popular at the time, I think it was too expensive, but you cannot find now, is Tom Daniel, the famous model car designer for Monogram. TD had made the Red Baron, which is this model car, the little German helmet on the T-bucket that was hot rodded. Okay,
Yep.
They sold 3 million of those in a year. It was Monogram's top-selling kit that year. It's still in production today in some form, but they made a big 1/12 scale one. You can't find them, and I don't even think there's any left. But a guy had the box, and what did he want, Steve? $50 just for the empty box. That just for the empty box, no instruction sheet, nothing. Just the top and the bottom of the box. He wanted $50, and now there is a weird little dark market in counterfeiting vintage boxes.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I have a counterfeit Remco robot box, which looks great for the Remco Lost in Space robot. It looks fantastic, but it's not real.
Power of
There's
nostalgia.
also a market of boxes that are made for kits that were never made.
Oh yeah, the Batcopter.
You know, and if you go on Monsters in Motion, they have a lot of.
So it's just a box, not a model. It's just a box.
It's just
the cardboard.
The model was never made.
But the box art sells the model.
Oh.
Wait, what's the matter?
I say the box art sells the model.
Oh yeah, oh well for sure. Monsters in Motion is an awesome freaking website.
Oh, it is. I could easily spend my whole allowance there.
Where is the store?
The store is.
It's California, isn't it?
It's in California.
Maybe
L.A.
Yeah, it's by Disneyland.
Oh my gosh!
Anaheim.
Well, we're going to L.A. in 2 weeks for L.A. Comic-Con. I'll have to check that out.
I just got back from L.A.
They're only open certain days of the week, so you got to check the website.
Yeah, and
they're in a 2-story building. When you go into the first story and you go in the door, they have a room that have all of these unbelievable build-ups.
Wow, nice.
I'm
assuming
and then
you guys,
upstairs is the store.
I'm assuming you guys have done lots of videos on the Enterprise and all the different variations of.
Yes, and there's more than one channel dedicated to that too.
Was that AMT?
First it was AMT. It started.
And then AMT Earl,
and then Round 2 now makes them.
Dope. Now, did they go back to the original green dome?
No.
Not the last one I got. No.
That's what was so cool about that Enterprise. It had the wrong colored green dome.
Yeah.
The worst part of it was trying to get the nacelles to.
Saggies.
They would do this. It was just like the R2D2 model that came out in the the first one. The legs.
MPC.
Yeah, the legs would. There was that little rod that goes between the two legs, and it would never hold the thing up. Never.
This I know you got to go soon, Dan, and we've got only a couple of minutes on the Zoom session. We got we got 2 minutes. There were two things. Of course, we're trying to rush through this. We got to do this when we have more time. I'm gonna have to get professional Zoom or something. But one is you brought up Robbie, so I put the montage picture I put together for it. I think Robbie may be the most reused robot in cinema history.
Well, yes, the original Robbie did quite a bit, but then he was retired, and the Bill Malone replica is the one that you saw on all the television shows throughout the 70s and 80s. That was not the original Robbie.
And
the original Robbie was on Lost in Space, but then when you got to the Love Boat and Columbo, that was the duplicate.
Okay, because I noticed I made a lot of mods to it. It was they always tried to rearrange and hide what it was. The other thing is the Planet of the Apes. Only Adar, which was Abe Sheikh's operation, post Aurora, even though they sell them as Aurora kits, now they got the logo on them, but they were actually Adar kits. Abe Sheikh's had been an exec; he'd actually run Aurora.
I have every one of them.
I was going to ask you, why do you think that Lost in Space and Planet of the Apes, they're still making the movies today? Well, with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes just came out, and I understand Star Trek and Star Wars, but what do you think it is about these that just keeps them going?
We are alive still.
Oh, okay.
I think in 25, 30 years they won't be. I mean, Lost in Space is great, but it's not going to have the memory of a Star Wars or a Star Trek. It's just not. Land of the Giants won't. Good show, but I just think it's a sign of the times that we're still around talking about it. Luckily.
We're about to get cut off. I think it's less than 1 minute.
Right.
You have to go, or you want to start trying another session?
I actually have to go pick up my wife. Her show is done. We can do it again.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks.
And
actually, the best times for me are anytime Thursday through Sunday around now, 7-ish.
That dovetails nicely, because I was talking to Steve about starting another channel about movies, since our model stuff always drifts into movies almost invariably.
Right. Gotcha. Sure.
Gosh, what are they? Oh, there we went. Oh, Lord. Oh, great experience. Okay, had issues. Bang, they kicked us out, guys. Let's see. Well, we ran that one down to the last. Let's see if I've got to have, where is it? Okay, hang on. I'm coming back. I just got to turn Windows on. Video capture, there it is. Okay, I'm back with you. Can you guys still hear me? I'm showing I'm still registering an output here. We're gonna die. Let me call Steve real quick. Oh, he's calling me. Hey,
Quick.
man, 40 minutes flew by, didn't it? Can you guys hear Steve?
We were done.
I mean, I was like, we're trying to squeeze everything in we can. Enormous thanks to Dan for coming out to talk to us tonight, and we'll have him again sometime. This is just wonderful. I need to, you know what? I'm just going to shoot him a super quick email. Although he's probably already. That actually probably kept us out of trouble because that kept him from being late to pick up his wife. So she'll let him come out and play with us again in the future, maybe. I'm just going to, in real time here, compose.
Give Ken a call because he tried to call in and I told him to
That's him right there. Stand by.
Okay.
Merge with Steve. Hey, hello. Okay, you guys, we're up.
Yay!
Hey, all right. Let me just do this.
And is back together again.
The Zoom gods.
By the way, you sent me a Teams
cut
invite,
us
Max.
off, but Teams went south on me at the last second. It's because your computer's really busy. Come back another time. And I'm like, I'm not running anything but Teams and OBS.
Yeah, so we had to switch over.
Two calling in was okay. A third one just didn't do it.
Oh, boy. Went south on me at the last second.
We'll be in.
I'm like, I'm not running anything with Teams and OBS.
Yeah, so we had to switch over.
Two calling in was okay.
Okay, I know there's nothing more exciting than watching me type an email. Boom. Send that. Okay. Now let's get back to the live stream. Okay, I'm going to try and enhance things here, but let's see here. Oops, no. All right, let me see if I'm just going to rearrange a few things here. Let's see if I can get this microphone to work so we'll have set things up the way we were doing it before. All right. Plug that in. Remember, guys, we're proud of our low production values. This is like live TV. They're knocking stuff over, and the actors just smile, laugh, giggle, and pick it up. Why won't that fit? There we go. All right. Let's go. Audio capture. All righty. And okay, guys, you're awfully, yeah, but there we had the volume turned down. Let me. I'm gonna get my communicator out. It has a better speaker on it. Set this up the way I usually do it. I'm hearing me through one of you guys' thingy. One of you's got the volume.
Not me. Oh, come on. For the first time, you're not making noise.
Yeah, really.
Okay. Now we're good.
All right,
So,
guys.
since I missed that, how did that all go?
It actually went really well.
Swimmingly.
Teams crapped out on me at the last second, so I switched over to Zoom. But
It working.
It went well, Ken.
Good.
too bad you couldn't be a part of it, but that's what you get for missing staff meetings.
It'd be nice if somebody sent me a link.
Oh, yeah, I sent you the link, but that's when Teams crapped out. Sorry. And by the time we got Zoom, I mean, we got Zoom working. We just like, let's just go live while it's working because I don't know when this is going to, you're using three disparate technologies. And it's it's a miracle anything of this works at all, actually. Okay. All right. Okay. So. Okay, I'm hearing myself looping back through from somewhere. Well, anyway. So.
It's not me. Not here.
Let me put my headset on and see if that makes a difference.
Do you have your audio on?
Yeah, I'm hearing myself looping back through.
No.
I've got it set up the way I normally had it set up.
No, I mean, Max, do you have your audio set up?
Well, I turned off the output, so it should be coming back. I'm not sure where it's looping from.
Doesn't seem like it's doing it anymore.
Okay.
Do you have your audio on? No.
I've got it set up the way I normally had it set up.
No, I mean, Max, do you have your audio set up?
Let me. Well, I turned off the output, so it should be coming back. I'm not sure where it's looping from.
Doesn't seem like it's doing it anymore.
Okay.
Do you have your audio on? No, I've got it set up.
You know what?
John Ashley Smith says, "My name is John, and I have not bought a kit in nearly 3 weeks."
Welcome, John. Well, it's not the end of the world. The headset.
Agent says, "Hello, John Ashley. One more week, you'll get your 30-day chip."
You know what?
John Ashley Smith says, "My name is John, and I have not bought a kit in nearly 3 weeks."
I'm actually hearing it through the communicator, which means
You know what?
I'm hearing it like 30 seconds later. So somewhere, somebody. So you guys are both on headsets, or have the volume turned down, or what?
You got the volume turned down. I got the volume turned down.
Just on the phone.
Weird. I'm actually hearing it through the communicator, which means
It's gotta be you, Max.
I'm hearing it like 30 seconds later. So somewhere, somebody. So you guys are both on headsets, or have the volume turned down, or what?
You got the volume
Oh, well.
turned down. I got the volume turned down.
I'm not hearing anything to the headset, even though it's turned on and it's supposed to be.
You got the volume on in the headset?
Yeah. Oh, it's got that.
Remember the other day you forgot the buttons were on the side? Do you have like a chalkboard?
I don't know why the. Wait a minute. Okay, something just went bing.
Volume on in the headset?
I have an idea. Hold on.
Remember the other day you forgot the buttons were on the side?
No, that just did that.
Before we get started. Good thing Dan was on first.
What? It still doesn't seem to be.
Nathan says it's still here.
Yeah, I can hear it looping through the head. Yeah, it's not the headset. Okay. Audio output's turned off. So all I have is the input capture. And I'm turning the volume down all the way here. Well, the thing is, if I turn the volume down, oh, I know what the problem is.
You're doing something different.
Yes, I know what it is. Yeah, okay, it'll stop now. No. I figured out what it is. I normally have my iPad and a monitor on the iPad with the volume down all the way. This is doing everything on the phone because we were using the Zoom, and so I had to turn the volume up on the phone so that I could hear you guys talking to me. But somehow even though I couldn't hear it with my ear, the microphone was picking it up. So you guys have probably noticed that the sound, the feedback. So I probably already stopped. And
Yeah, sounds better.
yeah, I'm not hearing it now. Okay, so back to another scintillating episode of Max's Models. So we were talking about the Planet of the Apes kits, and okay, so
Everybody show your love and hit the thumbs up button.
and at this point it's a mercy thing, but okay. So Steve,
Yes.
I was watching Planet of the Apes, some of it on YouTube today, to sort of refresh myself for all this, and I was noticing that these kits are not all from the same. They're not all from the same Planet of the Apes movie, because you got General Aldo and General Ursus. So
Well, yeah, they had two releases of it.
okay,
In other words, they had the first release, and they saw how they did, and then they came out with the next movie, and then they released it again.
okay.
The newer ones.
So Cornelius, Azira, and
Dr. Zaius were the first.
their original movie, and the other three are from
the second movie.
okay, and so all right, so because I noticed the company Miko actually made like toys that
Yes. Miko made the little figures, like the G.I. Joe size figures.
Well, the one thing I did notice. Yeah, well, he was. You know, they had him kill off his character Taylor in the second movie because he didn't want to do another Planet of the Apes movie. But then they fried the world, so I guess I kind of took care of that.
Yeah, that kind of ended that problem.
I've never actually built one of these, but I do know that there are a couple of them up at Hurricane Hobbies, the Repops, and that might be interesting to grab
on
one.
The phone now.
What's that?
Getting in on the phone now.
What?
Get Ian on the phone now.
Oh,
yeah.
They're closed. Why, you think I ought to go grab them all?
No.
Well, why are you saying get Ian on the phone?
I was kidding.
Oh.
Get Ian on the phone, make sure you get him. You know?
Oh. But,
you need a cocktail to loosen you up a little.
Oh, I'm still just enjoying the buzz. Haven't had Dan on.
Seeing Dan is too much for you.
I tell you what, man, it was fun to have him on. Darn Zoom and Teams would only got another 15, 20 minutes also. I'm still wondering why Teams let me down at the last second, but I digress. Yeah. So, anywho, let me turn that back on. Video. Where'd I put it? Video capture. There's me. Well, at least while it was working, the Zoom worked pretty well. We were able to talk without any problems and everything, do everything in real time. So, but now the other stuff I got here, which I talked about briefly, I did the little Millennium Falcon with the pop-off module, escape boat, and everything. This is the Snap Tight kit that they're putting out now, which, by the way, guys, comes pre-painted. All I have to do is all this up, but it also has an opening door, and the gears retract, just snap in and snap out, so you can, in 5 seconds. Oh, I forgot about the button. It also has the, but not a bad little kit. This was sent to me by Blue Trooper recently, along with Hans Lawn Speeder, which I still think looks like a 64 Polara, and it also has the sound. And I've already forgotten where the button was that you pushed. Oh yeah, that's right. But this has got to be like the ugliest vehicle in Star Wars. So anywho, takes all about 10 minutes to put these together. They're really just snap tight kits. If I'd known that, I'd probably put them together in real time. That being said, you gotta really squeeze down there to get them to seat. They don't want to seat the last second. But Dan is the expert. I didn't realize this was a later season robot, so apparently we need to make um, the legs go all the way up to there, the split. That would be quite the little process to make a proper one of those. And this is vinyl, so it could be done. Ken,
What?
if I was to give you this section and show you the changes, you think you could 3D print a replacement unit that would be different?
I could print it, but I don't have the skills yet to be able to make the piece.
So you don't know how to design it, you're saying?
Do you have a
Correct.
3D scanner?
Do
Yeah.
I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Why
I'd
not?
like to get one, but they're still a little pricey.
Define pricey.
Last I saw, they were $1,000.
Well, not out of reach pricey. I mean, we could do that.
It'll be 600 by Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, that was a few months ago. They may have come down, or actually a year ago. Let me check. Let me go check.
All right, because while you're at it, I wonder, can you 3D print in clear?
No, not in the clear that you're thinking of. I can do it so light passes through it with no color, but not optically clear.
No, you're no fun.
Sorry.
I'm just thinking it'd be great if you could make those bubbles. Man,
Go to Walmart, got more soda.
what's
That's
that?
right. Use soda bottles.
What?
Use soda bottles.
What do you mean use soda bottles?
Well, what I did for the Buffalo is I printed a canopy mold. Came with the kit. And then I stuffed it inside of a soda bottle along with some socks to keep it from shrinking too much, and then I put a heat gun on it and just shrunk it down and then cut it out.
Fran says you can 3D print in clear, but it's a little opaque.
Yeah, unfortunately, the one thing about that, it's got to be actually crystal clear. That's actually what makes the glass acrylic bubble worth having. What it is, I mean, it's actually acrylic, but it's one blown piece. I wonder how they did that, and why you can't find them. I mean, that's the most popular part of the model.
Okay, your volume just went off.
Sorry, I was just saying that I'm surprised they can't do them in acrylic. I mean, I don't know why they just didn't make that big clear dome a standard part, because it's the thing everybody wants and no one can find. Dan's right. I mean, there's got to be a market for a few hundred of them easily. If you could get them on, if you could make those and sell them on eBay. I'm wondering if there's something, if you made what you could. I don't know if shrink and heat around it would be good enough, because then you got to pull the mold would have to be able to come apart inside, so you could take it apart without damaging the model. Or I mean the mold and the part. That's
Scale Model Apprentice says, "Did you get my package?"
The last package I got was the one with these models in it. And I got a message that I was going to have a package probably delivered today, but I haven't gotten a chance to get over to the post office, so I might get it tomorrow. It may already be there. I didn't actually get a delivery notification, just it's expected to be there.
Okay, here's a quick glance. The prices range from $329 to $52,590.
There you go, Ken. You're right in the bubble.
Yeah, that's kind of out of my price range right now.
So how much are we looking at? I'm sorry, how much did you say?
The cheapest is $329.
Oh, that's not
and then it
terrible.
goes. The top end for large objects is $52,590.
Well, we're not making real robots, so
Well, that's for houses.
Yeah.
For scanning things up to several meters in size.
Yeah, I don't think we need that one. But it's good to know it's out there. Now you're talking about a scanner, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we got the scanner, you're going to have to learn to use the software to make alterations and changes.
That would be a whole lot easier to do than creating this stuff from scratch.
Yeah, you just put it on, it scans it, and it puts it up in the computer, and you look at it, and you make the changes, and then you print it.
That's how Phil made the new Godzilla mold, you know, from the Aurora, that second Aurora buildup. He had it 3D scanned. And, well, that would be a interesting little project. Make season 1 legs, and if we could make the glass dome bubbles, I'm sure there would be some interest in that.
It probably cost you more to do them than what you would sell.
Yeah, that's true. You could. I'm looking at this. I don't think you can modify. I don't know. If you were to cut it and stretch it, maybe, but it would only fold in about a ½ an inch. So you'd have a lot of void area in there. You'd probably have to cut up 2 of these to be able to make one. And I think it would probably be easier to make a resin mold or something. And then you could do 5 vinyl pours. But you need somebody that's a good mold maker.
That's what are you doing with your finger?
Just showing you, hey, I can't help it where it's got to be cut. You know, you got to touch it in a special place. It's the, you know, if you want to get the proper legging.
Has anybody touched you here?
But
okay, we'll be getting a notice from
that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we got canceled.
Yes, Your Honor. Then Mr. Conklin said this.
You know, Your Honor, I would gladly be able to throw Ken completely under the bus. What do you need me to say at the trial? But I knocked this one over today and knocked it into 3 pieces. You know, you could make an entire Lost in Space chess set. You know, probably using these as the pawns. But so.
Garfield says the glass dome piece was available as a separate kit for upgrading.
That's right. And unfortunately, they're all gone. You just can't find them. I've gone on eBay and looked for them several times. They simply weren't there. And if it wasn't for Garfield, I wouldn't have this one.
Who made it?
Mobius.
Interesting comments.
Mobius made the glass dome upgrade?
Yeah, they made the whole kit. So, what are these?
Well, you should send them an email, see if they got me hanging around.
Thanks for forming a bris. I didn't even know the robot was Jewish. Yeah, here we go. That's it. I'm canceled.
You keep cutting in and out.
I'm sorry. I'm moving away from the microphone. Let me turn it this way a little bit. Yeah, I was looking on the phone, but trying to read the comments Ken was talking about. But that's not a minor undertaking. You guys know how hard it is to fabricate parts. If I knew someone that could sculpt well enough, I'd be happy to pull this one apart so that I could send him the, I guess you call it upper trouser unit and have him modify it. But
you're making Paul Adams nervous. He says that mini robot is very close to the edge. Please move him further in. I'm getting very nervous.
That's how I knocked him over last time. I was like, I turned the chair and I heard smack, and I was like, don't be the big one. Don't be the big one. Oh, where's the little one? Where's Major Kong?
Danger, danger.
You better believe it. Oh, looks like I already got one of his ears. Must have knocked that out. It's probably laying on the floor somewhere. I have to see if I can find it. Yeah, Max's models is the one thing we test on our models. That's how much battle damage they can take. And maybe we'll have a build at some point using nothing but broken parts. What?
It's called weathering.
Weathering, yeah. But But one thing we didn't get around to talking about though was I never really. I mean, if you made a science fiction movie where this was Jupiter 2 from the movie was the spaceship, I'd say, not but I could see it at Star Wars, not terribly inspired, but okay. But as the Jupiter 2, I just felt it was just too far removed from the TV show. It's like the Lost in Space movie should have just been something else. And I don't know, Dan's right. It's made for. I'm gonna have to glue that back in place. The thing was made for a younger new audience, so they've got to have the stuff the kids have come to expect. But I just, when you had teenage angst in the original show, it's because one of the girls was being abducted by a vegetable or something.
And the same thing they said today.
Yeah.
Women says if you make a Lost in Space chess set, you can have a little kid as the pawns. He's the most dispensable.
What, Will? Nah, man, they wrote the show around him. You know what would have been cool is if when they made the Netflix series, because Billy Mummy, actually played Dr. Smith and the girl stole his badge. And spoiler alert for anybody who hadn't seen it. But I'm thinking they should have just had Billy Mummy be Dr. Smith. He knew Jonathan Harris. He could have pulled it off. He probably knew that character better than anybody other than Will himself. And that would have been a funny little, twist.
The crowd says the new Jupiter 2 looks like a suppository for Godzilla.
Yeah.
Looks like a giant burger.
And Robert Rodriguez says, "Do you think Major West and Judy Robinson were an item? Is the bear crap in the woods?"
Oh, they were supposed to get married if there was another season, if I'm not mistaken, weren't they?
I have no idea. I've never heard of that.
I, like Dan, after the first season, said, "Enough with this."
Yeah. It did. I remember seeing it as a kid and thinking, wow, this is a serious show. And then, like you said, a season or so later, like, I don't remember it being like this. And when you're 9 years old and you can make that distinction, or 8 years old. But, oh well. I was not their target audience, I guess. Although I did like the episode of War Notes. His character was kind of interesting. But the one thing I still remember was crush, kill, destroy. And I don't know why that stuck in my head. I was like, oh, sounds like the mantra of the United States Marine Corps.
They're saying you're hard to hear now, Matt.
Oh, I got it. Sorry. I keep forgetting the microphone's way back there. It's way up here. No, but
Sluggo had the hots for June Lockhart. Let's see. We had Judy, but you had the hots for June Lockhart. Okay.
I am really biting my tongue right now.
Did you also think she was bringing Lassie with her, Sluggo?
Just don't tell me if you had the hots for Lassie. I didn't just say that. That's it. We're officially canceled. Again. I don't know. We're piling up strikes as we speak. But I do have to say, I will say, not only was this Jupiter 2 kit not a particularly inspired looking ship, although it did build up real nice. I had a few fit issues with it also.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ken.
Garfield said if they remade LOS today, it would be called Lust in Space.
And the ball drops. We just keep going down further and further. But it just dawned on me how much Robot looks like the robot from the Jetsons. Oh God!
Rosie.
Please don't tell me somebody did something with those two.
You mean Rosie? Yeah, Rosie.
Yeah, Rosie. It does look like who he'd date.
You know those Roomba vacuum cleaner things?
Yeah, we got one.
Well, we got one that's kind of like that, and my wife named it Rosie.
Yeah. Well, our cat doesn't ride ours, though. She's too busy chasing other cats out of the house. But.
Okay, so Kuda Killer says, I'm a little younger, so I had the hots for Anne Lockhart.
Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. But not, you ever notice? You never hear anybody say they had the hots for Penny. I'm sorry, but Veronica Cartwright just apparently didn't.
So Dale Comer says I had a crush on June Lockhart because of the movie Gog. Well, here's a flash. She wasn't in that movie.
Who was it?
It was what the hell was her name? Constance. I can't remember. I can look that up.
You have the interweb.
There we go. Let's see.
What was the name of the monkey?
Blurp, bleep.
Oh God. Yeah,
bleep. Was it bleep?
No, Constance Dowling was the woman in God.
Ah, great. Gilly had the hots for the wrong woman. Why are we talking about? Let's get back to models. So, the viewers' builds are coming along nicely, getting lots of great pictures, and I'm just trying to deflect the conversation before we get in trouble. But now the other Lost in Space models I need to get, of course, are the Space Pod and the Chariot. And I saw the Chariot when I was at Pam's Con. It was like a really nice kit. But I think they make the Chariot in a couple of different scales, though, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
And I want to get the nice one, which I believe that's what they made this 148 scale robot for. Was for the Chariot. Was this a 132nd scale robot? What scale is this thing? They said 148, but that's way too big to be 148. That's like one.
Max.
Huh?
Nobody likes Penny because her choice of pets was poor.
And Debbie was the monkey's name.
What?
Debbie was the monkey's name.
Debbie?
Yes.
Didn't they want it with some character called Bleep?
No. You thinking of Colonel Bleep?
Okay, I'm just remembering wrong. But the
Bleep was from Space Ghost. That's what Craig said.
Blip.
Oh, Blip. Sorry.
Blip.
Yeah, I can't read.
All right, so Robot B9 by Mobius is 1:6 scale, and Polar Lights made a 1:12. Oh, wait a minute. Aurora's robot was 1:8 scale. Polar Lights was 1:12 scale. I didn't realize this robot came in so many different sizes. And this one is 1:24 scale. Yeah, that sounds right. It's 1:24 scale. Okay. And apparently a company called Green Strawberry is starting to make one in 1:35 scale. And of course, you got the AMT Ertl Lost in Space robot from the movie in 1:48 scale. Looks more like a tank.
We're talking the spaceship, right?
No, the robot.
Meanwhile, the Aurora was 1:8 scale.
Well, it said I'm on ScaleMates, and it says that the Mobius is 1:6. Aurora was 1:8, so it would have been a little bit smaller, unless they got the scale. And that Polar Lights made the one with Dr. Smith in 1:12, and they released it as a standalone kit in 1:12. And then you got the little one here for Mobius in 1:24. I said Revell, it's Mobius. Let's see about the Chariot. Okay. Roman Chariot. Okay, the Mobius Chariot is in 1:24 scale to go with the robot. They have now Dahlin Hobby, which is Steve out of Atlanta. His is in one. Yeah, okay. So Steve does make one in 1:32 scale, and then wait a minute. It says 1:35 and 1:32. So lunar models. So I don't know what the story is on that. If that's just a typo, or if I doubt he made them in two different scales. But 24 and 35, according to the new tool, it says new tool. So maybe it is okay. Maybe it is a different scale. Because I think the 1 to 32nd one, is that the one that just comes with the stickers or decals for the windows? Because it comes with the monster. And apparently Maro-san made one, scale unknown.
JM made a comment a little while ago saying that he could, his daughter can print clear with resin printers.
Really? Okay,
I
here.
didn't know that.
Yeah, the doll. Yeah, here's the doll in hobby, and that looks like it says it is 1 to 32nd scale. That's the one that comes with the big monster throwing the rock at it. I think it has decals or stickers to the window. Somebody, I'm pretty sure, sent that probably for the sci-fi build. Let me see if I can find that picture real quick. And that would have been 2023 group. Well,
Big Crab says we need to do Garrett Morris to do the impaired hearing.
God. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely nothing is sacred. So don't bother asking. Group build muscle car, group build Corsair and Lightning.
What's a group build muscle car?
That's an old no.
Away from the Max.
Huh?
You're getting away from the
I'm sorry, getting away from the mic again. I'm trying to see where the sci-fi. Oh, you know what? It's not on my computer. I downloaded all that stuff to storage on a storage on a plug-in unit. So because my hard drive was getting full, these color pictures eat even a terabyte drive, 2 terabyte drive. They eat up a lot of space. So, but I seem to remember that one with the monster having like stickers over the windows, and. Well, you know what? Hold on. This is what the interweb is for.
Oh, there you go. How about a Yeoman Rand model? I like that idea. Hey, Max, maybe Monica could do one.
She's done the Lost in Space Girls before. And I found it, yeah. Yeah, it's got oh wow, you know what? Yeah, the Lost in Space Cyclops, 132nd.
Star Trek?
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't. The chariot looks kind of small, a little stubby in that.
I'll take a Dr. Crusher one.
All right, let's see here. Here we go. Yeah, Cult TV, man. Here it is. Copy image. Edit. Paste. Crop. File. Save as. JPEG. L166. And let's pump this in here. That. Image. Select. Browse. D. Under pressure, boom, bada, boom, boom. Okay, here is the Lost in Space Cyclops, and I could be wrong, but that chariot looks pretty under scale, and you guys will see it in about 20 seconds. But and it does just have like stickers for windows or something like that. I'm not sure. I mean, I've never built the kit. It seems to have a poster board backing for it, and you guys will have to tell me when you see it. But
Sure, it doesn't look too stubby. That was about the, if I remember correctly, that was about the right size.
yeah, but doesn't it look too small given the size of the people?
Yeah, compared to our figures, it's small. Yeah, it's not to scale.
Okay,
They'd be packed in there pretty tight if that was to scale.
Smith, West, the girl. Yeah, the count's right. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay. Dad, Mom, Will, Penny. Yeah, okay, they're all there. Oh, the robot's what's missing.
Yeah.
But I guess I couldn't make a 1/32 scale robot.
They got way too many figures there.
Yeah.
They got 7 figures there. There weren't 7 people on the ship.
There were the 2 girls. There were the 3 kids, the major, The mom, the dad, and Dr. Smith. Yeah, that's 7.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're only supposed to be 6, but
seems like there's a lot of people there.
Yeah, you don't realize quite how big the crowd was. But you do realize though, the Cyclops is on his home planet minding his own business. He's not the bad guy here. Just want to keep that straight.
JM said he just emailed you a pic of the clear resin.
Oh, okay. Let me go get that. Okay.
Back window decal was a picture of the robot. They put the robot in that thing too?
Oh, and the decal? I'm waiting for the email to show up. It's hung up in cyberspace somewhere. Hasn't showed up yet. You know, that happens sometimes. Emails are not necessarily instantaneous. But
the one-eyed Cyclops was saying, "Get off my lawn."
Yeah, really. I mean, it's his planet. You think about it. I brought this up before. King Kong, Godzilla, Frankenstein. They didn't ask, to be dragged into man's world and or to be made. Dracula didn't ask to be bit, and Frankenstein didn't ask to be built. Wolfman didn't ask to be bit. So just saying. Until you go feeding on the locals, you're the victim. Once you start chowing down on the kids, yeah, then you're bad. But
Robert Rodriguez says Cyclops is saying, "Damn humans moving into the neighborhood."
Professional UV resin. Okay.
I like Sluggo. He says Dr. Smith would have been shot by his own troops if you went into war.
Oh yeah, I don't know why they didn't just drop him off on some planet somewhere anyway.
Because they were humanitarians.
I would have made him lost in space.
Okay.
And Christopher Jordan is saying, Max, did you get my BF 109-2?
If that's the one that you just sent, I actually just downloaded. Is that from? Was it wasn't IMC? Was it IMC? I did just get a BF 109. Nice job too. Let's see here. Okay, go here, and here's the resin he's talking about. Just get this picture in here. There it is. So I'm not exactly sure how you would make a dome out of that, but you can use the existing dome to make you could use the existing dome to make a pliable mold out of rubber that'll stretch, and then you could line it with that resin that he's talking about. When it hardens, the mold could be cut so you can pull it out, and that might work. Very possibly. Yeah, that could work. Okay, let me see if oh no, it's right. Yeah, I actually had to put it in its own and make sure this is this the BF 109 you're talking about? The BF 109 F2. Beautiful work. So I just downloaded that, and it's carrying, I believe that is the Adjutant's aircraft because it has a chevron with the O behind it. And I believe that is the Luftwaffe's signal for a police squadron adjutant or executive officer. But this Soraya Tech,
Computer Killer says that resin is for 3D printing.
Oh, okay. There you go, Ken.
What? I thought you knew that.
No, I thought it was something else. So it's not inconceivable that we could 3D print bubbles.
Natasha says, look up instant mold to make molding of the dome. You can make silicone molds also.
Mm-hmm. Instant mold, okay. Let's see, because what you have to do is I know the little mold stuff I played with for a while. It was a rubber mold, so that you could, the liquid you could. Now you would want you'd have to make something to go in there, so that you need a cap and a plug. Otherwise, you're going to wind up with just a solid piece of. And I don't think you could just wipe it on the inside and have it dry hard enough. I don't even know if that would be clear. Excuse me. But that's going to be a tricky thing to. I suppose if you had something you could inflate, like a balloon, to go in that was just the right size, or that would spring out at just the right size. But it's got to have a perfectly smooth surface, because it's got to be as smooth on the inside as the outside. And that is a pretty tall order. Huh. You don't appreciate these things until.
Okay, I think you can take the picture of the resin down now.
Oh, okay. Actually, I did that just before you said it.
Yeah, I thought it responded really quick.
Yeah, I'm just. Now it's got the old gray matter going. Like, how can you make these domes? Just out of curiosity, I'm just going to take a quick look here. Mobius B-9 dome for sale.
Yes, those resins are for tank type 3D printers.
Okay. $16 for the dome, out of stock. Put me on the waiting list. Yeah, like that's ever coming. God, it just hurts to look at it. I mean, I'm glad I've got one. Thank you, Garfield. But, you know, out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. And that's, I don't have a date on that. Deluxe Glass, My Movie Monsters. Deluxe Glass Dome Kit. $300? Holy schmoly.
You could build a real one for that price.
Not quite.
Oh, hold on. Disregard. No longer available. Then why is it in your catalog, people? Oh, Burbank's House of Hobbies. Here we go. Out of stock.
And you were just there.
Well, they were out of stock then, too. Here we go. From HobbyLink Japan. One is Glowstone B9. 1658, discontinued, not expected. Hey, they're honest. This item is discontinued and is not expected to come back into stock. Well, I got
it. But they bombed us at Pearl Harbor. Do you trust them?
Ow, too soon. Well, let's just hop over to Evil Bay and see if there's just. By the way, no, I do not want to upgrade my eBay experience. Get off my screen. All right. There's the Robia already built, and 1.6 Lawsby. Okay, doesn't mention the dome. Let me put seamless dome. That one's already been built. Nope. None of them say seamless dome. What the heck is this? Lost in Space Mobius models. There's a robot rare. It's the robot in a TV. What in the Sam Hill is this? 2016 Lost Rare Exposed Mobius. It's literally a little like the little 1/24 scale. I have one in a cardboard television. You guys are going to love this. I mean, I know there's some goofy marketing out there, but let me just upload this here real quick. Plus, image. Okay. I have never even heard of this before. Here is what I assume is the 1/24 scale Lost in Space robot. No, you know what? It might be. Actually, that looks like it might be pre-done, but maybe it's the one you build. But you guys see it yet?
That was a done for Comic-Con thing by, God, I can't remember who did that. But that was a Comic-Con thing.
So that's pretty rare then.
Yeah.
Well, they're selling 3D TVs.
Yes.
And they print in cardboard, Ken.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Okay, I gotta admit that's kind of cute. Well, anyway. I'm still waiting to figure out some genius way to make these domes because all the methods I can think of require someone, unless you can just 3D print one clear. And I got a feeling that a 3D printed one, I don't know this, I've never 3D printed anything clear, but I just don't see a 3D one. If it works the way I think it does, it's not really going to come out. It's going to have like ripples or something in it. Ken, you think?
I've never messed with resin. I don't know if the resolution can be high enough to make something smooth enough that it would look good.
What about vac forming one?
That's probably what you'd have to do. But the only problem with vac forming is you got
to do it in halves. Yeah, the vacuum forming you'd have to do it in halves.
No, Ken. You make a 4-piece or a 5-piece mold that have pins so they lock in real tight. Vac it, pull the centerpiece out, and then the middle one, then the other ones can come out. You had to have a disassembling internal mold.
Oh, a reverse mold.
What you would have is the inside of the dome.
Yeah, but the problem is how would you get the stuff in the middle?
No, okay. Here's what you do. Okay. First off, you're going to have a really good vac because it's going to be able to extrude that plastic around a good ways. But you make the circle dome, but it's in 4 pieces that pin together. The middle of it, the bulk of the middle of it, just slides into place. Okay, it's a friction fit. Okay, or it has a handle on it. But the side pieces, the pieces that make the circumference, have pins, so they're perfectly aligned. The centerpiece just goes in to hold everything in place. It's got a handle on it. You're going to have some kind of pedestal for the vac so that the plastic will extrude around it. That can be done, okay? You trim off the bottom, then you pull the centerpiece out, and the other parts can pop apart. The pins are very short. They're just alignment pins.
How do they make the real one?
Probably something like I just described, something sort of like a reverse side slide molding technique, probably. When George Toda started making one-piece car bodies, he did it because the molds came together and then they had side units that came in. He shot the plastic in, cooled it, side units popped out, then they came across, the knockout pins would get it out, and you had the big 3-sided car body. This would be sort of like that, but in reverse. The part that would... Okay, somebody turn their volume up because I'm hearing myself again. Hello?
Robert Rodriguez has it. He said, just buy another kit, you got spare parts.
Yeah, but finding one with the clear seam dome, those are what are gone. Let's see, you would use the existing dome to make a mold. You would then fill that mold with resin or wood or whatever you're going to use. Then peel the mold off of it. Now you've got a copy of this out of something hard. You'd have to probably laser cut it or water jet cut it into at least 4 pieces, and cut out the center. Actually, I'd cut out the center first, knock that out, then cut those in 4 pieces. Now, there's going to be a little bit of loss, but that's actually a good thing because you're going to want it to be just a little bit smaller. Then you would drill little bits in there just so you could put in alignment pins to make sure they align up perfectly. And then you would put the centerpiece in, put it on a small stand, high pressure vac that wraps around it as it comes down to make sure it tucks under, knife it off, pull the centerpiece out, pull out the other parts, and you got your clear dome. But it's got to be polished perfectly smooth. which probably means using resin. Because
does any of our glue troopers have any manufacturing knowledge to be able to do something like this?
that is a good question. You could also have someone cut a mold on a CNC machine, which is the way they actually usually cut molds for real. But now you're getting into industrial grade production, not garage work. Look what Dan went and started. Now he's going to drive 200 glue troopers nuts all trying to figure out how to produce blood glass domes. All part of his evil plan. I'm going to email him that. And I know what his response is going to be. Good. Yeah, you guys got me. You know, I didn't have this problem before. Now I'm going to stay up half the night going, how can we do that? Somebody out there knows an easy way to do this.
Maybe it can be done with glass, blown glass.
I mean, if you had somebody that really knew what they were doing, then you'd have to be able to cut a perfect hole in the bottom for the base to fit. And on top of that, you would have to figure out some kind of adhesive that'll hold glue to plastic without frosting it or anything. You know, I wonder if the actual dome itself, if you vac the actual dome itself, be a skosh oversized, but that wouldn't necessarily be the end of the world. Well, for the hardcore guys, it would be. Great, Max's models just turned into Max's manufacturing.
Sometimes that's kind of like what you do when you scratch build stuff.
No, fair enough. But this is an really interesting first clear resin dice 3D print, slightly yellowed. Huh. Her first clear resin dice 3D. Interesting.
Well, Jam says, my daughter said the dome can be 3D printed with a separate disc on the bottom to insert the other stuff.
Well, the brain, the bottom plate is a separate plate. See, the problem is that the seam runs right down the middle of the other ones. That's why the seam right here is accurate to the actual studio model. So they're not really concerned about, you know, that's fine. It's just this big piece up here, and it curves in to about 40 degrees. But it only goes in about a ½ inch. So it's nothing you couldn't do. If 3D printing, if it comes out clear and looks good, would be the easiest way. That way you just flip the machine on and start making them. You're not using resin though, right, Ken? You don't 3D print resin, correct?
Correct. I do filament.
Right. Okay.
Now, if you did the layers really, really small,
yeah,
so that you couldn't see them, then it might work.
I
said I've never done resin printing, so I don't know what's possible, what's not.
Herman, how to solve this problem? I don't know.
Jam, maybe you can have her try and make one. See if she can do it.
But if anybody can
if she can pull it off, there are a lot of people who be willing to buy that.
Look, the things are going for $50. They were going for $16 to $20 a piece when they were available. Now that they're not available, you could start the bidding at $25, $30. You know, so and maybe more. We're domed, and now that don't ask me.
We're domed, I tell you, domed.
Kuda Killer says I'll look and see if there are any files out there for the dome already. And
famous last words.
How thick is the bubble? It's actually.
Again, it might not.
The bubble's not very thick. It's I don't have it since it's on. I can't micrometer it, but it's 16th of an inch. No, less than that probably. Yeah, it's no thicker than a canopy on a model airplane. Chris, what are we talking about? We're talking about figuring out a way, since these clear seamless domes for the Mobius robot are no longer available. We're trying to figure out a way to fabricate one. Because there are a lot of people out dome over, man, dome over. There are a lot of people out there trying to figure out a way that have the kit. They want the seamless dome, but they're not around to be found. And we're just trying to figure out a way to fabricate one. Oh, the rubber tracks, nah, everybody just paints them black. You've got to be really hardcore to grind off those tracks and put in actual rubber ones. Although, I'm sure there's somebody out there who's done it. But that is a good question. Interesting project. Somebody's going to come up with a solution. Not like you're going to pay for a house or a car with it, but there's a few bucks to be made if somebody could figure out how to do that. Because there's got to be at least 1,000 of these kits out there with guys looking for the dome. At least a few hundred at a minimum. If you got $25 a pop and sold a couple of hundred of them, that's $5,000. So it's probably worth it to somebody. I could do it, except I only lack two things: the talent and the skills.
And a printer.
Well, that's assuming you decide to 3D print it. You might vac it. Just like you said, making the season 1 vinyl legs for the thing. There are a lot of guys. I'm sure you could sell 100 of those. And if you can do one, that'd probably be an easier thing, actually, that could be 3D printed.
Okay, boys and girls, it's time to move the topic along.
Okay. So, next topic for this evening. The only other thing I had was some Planet of the Apes stuff, which we kind of already covered. Let me see. Did I have what images did I have here that we have not used? I think there's some stuff we didn't. We talked about the Robbie robot being reused. No, I think we actually used the few slides that I made. What are you snickering at?
Don Lee says, "You know what you need? A Doomsday machine."
Okay. Okay, what's the next topic then, Steve?
Okay, before we move on, Chris wants to know how big the domes are.
Depends on how big the girl is.
Because you can't get canceled enough.
And are we done with this project, with this topic yet?
It looks, Chris, it looks like it's about 2 inches across.
Good night, Fran.
Night, Fran. About 2 1/4 inches across. And you're good. Oh, whew. Please don't let me knock anything else over. I'm going to move the Jupiter 2 to a position of safety, away from this chair. Yeah, it looks like it's about 2 1/4 inches across. Let's see how deep it is. About an inch.
Okay.
About an inch and a half deep. And I'm sorry, 1.5 inches deep and 3 inches across. About an inch and a half deep and about 3 inches across. That's not an exact measurement. That's just what I can do. I assume it feels like it's made out of glass, but it might just be a high-grade acrylic. But either way, it's beautifully clear. And that's going to be the real trick. We could knock off a part, but making it this clear is the trick. And of course, you could get one that's a little rough and spend a week polishing the thing. I know some guys do that with canopies, and then they look great, but it's a lot of work. I don't know why they just didn't make that standard.
Robert Rodriguez says, "Just get a cabinet door pull knob."
Well, if somebody makes a hollow clear one that just happens to be the right size, and But anyway, I'm sure there's some smart glue trooper out there that'll figure it out. Just make sure to let the rest of us know. So, Steve, what was next?
Well, why don't we pick up on what we were talking with Dan? What's in the glue trooper's opinion? Let's expand. What are the top 5 to 10 robots in sci-fi?
All right, guys. I like TARS from Interstellar. I like the B9 robot. I like Commander Data. It's kind of a guilty pleasure, but I sort of like Crichton from the Buck Rogers TV show just because he was so Sheldon Cooper. It was worth it just to see the one episode where he comes in. I made dramatic pause. A mistake. And let's see. Well, I guess I'd have to go with R2.
Platoon.
Gort, although an impressive robot, I was never particularly impressed with the style. Although it was for the era, it was fine. But favorite robot, Jamie on Get Smart. Remember him? Well, no, Jaime. That's how you said Jaime on Get Smart. Yeah. But the let's see, who's a dragon? Klaatu wasn't a robot. Gort was a robot.
Guy. He wasn't a robot. Yeah, he was.
No. Michael Rennie was Klaatu.
Not true. What's the robot's name?
Gort.
Gort?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gort.
Wow.
What was it? Nikta Barada Klaatu, Nikta Barada, or Nikta Barada Klaatu? Klaatu, Nikta Barada. Man, of all the things at Nikto, of all the things in my life I need to remember, that was not one of them, but I do. Yeah, Twiggy was okay, and Marvin, the paranoid android. The doctor on the holographic doctor doesn't count. He was a hologram, not a robot. V'ger.
Max from the black hole.
I knew someone would like Maximilian from the black hole.
Yeah.
Klaatu, Barada, Nikto. That's it.
Wasn't too bad either.
What's that?
Vincent wasn't too bad either.
Yeah, they were okay. They were never amongst my favorites. What are little girls made of? There you go.
The Daleks?
Gort was a robot in the original story. Gort was in charge. Interesting. Gort, the other white meat. Cybernauts. Don't forget, what was it on Doctor Who? Was the Robot Men or whatever they called them? And
the Daleks.
No. Well, the Daleks were one, but there were also like the Robot Men. Had the
Cybernauts.
Was that what they were called? Twilight, the female on the prison planet. Yeah, Corey. Yeah, that doesn't freak out a little kid. Springs and I tell you what, Dome it, Jim. I'm a doctor, not a robot. Oh, this isn't getting old anytime soon. The dogs have a bone and they're not letting go of it. Okay. Oh, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. There you go. Yeah. Silent running. Yeah. And a lot of people say that they were the proto R2 units. That's kind of where they got the idea for R2. One-eyed robot on heavy metal. Stern, you ought to be ripped from limb to limb. Oh, Crichton. Oh, yeah, Crichton from the Red Dwarf. Don't forget him. The Cybermen. That was it, Cybermen.
That's the second time somebody said Crichton.
The solenoid robots. Brian from the Brain. Wally. Mud's women. Yeah, there you go. Wait a minute. Mud's women were humans. They were just on some kind of drug. He's thinking of I, Mud.
Right.
And, Roger Carmel, one of the few guest stars to appear on Star Trek twice as the same character. Michael on, no, it wasn't Michael. What's his name? Spock's dad. Mark
Lenard.
Mark Lenard was, but he played two different characters. Oh yeah, the robot in Short Circuit. Yeah, and
Yeah, Short Circuit and Wally were very, very similar.
In a lot of ways, same basic idea. Dome and Domer. I'm going to shoot Dan an email. Yeah, now that's all we talked about the rest of the show, and now you got 100 people trying to figure out how to make a dome for this robot. I hope you're happy.
The Iron Giant.
That is probably my favorite. I love that movie. I've seen that movie 30 times, and I still get water in the back of my eyes when he closes his eyes and goes, Superman. And,
by the way, the robot in Short Circuit was called Number 5.
Oh, that's right.
Johnny 5.
And let's see. There were a lot of people think it's a pretty obscure reference, but there were the 2 female androids in the Martian Chronicles. The guy's wife and daughter died. He couldn't live without them, so he basically made androids of them.
How about the kid in AI?
Yeah, and don't forget, Chris mentioned Alien, so you're talking about Bishop.
Well, and yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good android, a lot of good android characters out there. Baymax, Tachikomas, don't know. Oh, hey, we forgot one of the most famous of them all, Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
And Mechanicong.
Oh, the huge robots from Sky Captain in the World
of Tomorrow.
Last night.
Yeah.
I watched that last night.
Oh, Yul Brynner in Westworld is the gunfighter.
What about the Cylons?
Yeah, there you go, Cylons. And,
Voice to the bottom of the dome.
God. Chomps, oh yeah.
The shopping mall robot.
The guy who played Baltar on BSG showed up as that's right, John Calicos. Played Battlestar Galactica and as a Klingon. And in fact, he was the last one of the 3 of them to die. It just somehow, the old drunk managed to survive everything despite his best efforts to get himself killed.
What about John from Voyage to a Prehistoric Planet?
I don't remember him.
It was a Russian movie that they redid. It was a Roger Corman deal.
I just watched Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow yesterday.
When I was a kid, one of my favorite cartoon shows was The Fifth Man.
I don't remember that one. No, I remember Space Ghost.
I remember Tobor the Eighth Man.
No, it's called
Dome Periscope. Yeah, they keep on coming. Oh, K9 from Doctor Who.
K9.
Yeah, Matt Irvin's quasi-creation. Yeah, well, he kept it running. There's not models of a lot of these. There's a lot of model manufacturing opportunity. Maybe they figure that the fembots. Well, I don't know if it counts as a robot. It's more of a human brain, but that was Colossus.
There you go. No, that doesn't count as a robot.
No, but what does count as a robot is what's the thing with the big machine that comes to Earth? The Mexican Air Force attacks it. Kronos.
Julie Newmar is Rhoda, My Living Doll.
Oh, wow. And I just saw that for the first time recently. And
that's a funny show.
Hey, it was. I love how quickly she learned to start making facial expressions and the confused look and everything. It's called Space Ghost.
And of course, there's the ever popular Rosie from the Jetsons.
Oh yeah, the one I fell in love with Tars though, although he's pretty cool, was when Matt McConaughey's working on it, he goes, Tars, set your humor level at 70%. Roger, this unit will self-destruct in 5, 4, 3. Set humor level to 10%. You are no fun.
Yeah, no, made that movie.
Dome Finger.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the little yeah.
Dome Finger is just.
Oh hey, Roy's right. The Daleks are not robots; they have creatures inside them, so they're not really robots. They're more along the yeah. Adam from Real Steel.
Did he really have any intelligence?
Who?
Or is he just mimicking people?
I remember batteries not included. Little. I was never quite sure if they were spaceships or robots or what.
Oh, Astro Boy.
Oh yeah.
I said that already.
Yeah, and there's a big model, a very complex model of him that's for sale at Hurricane Hobbies.
Ian's got it. Yeah, he had it in the showcase when we were there.
Mm-hmm.
God and Magog from the original film. God. Yep.
I remember Damnation Alley, no robots, but it was for the budget it was shot on. It was a good movie, given when it came out. Had to get used to George Papard with a mustache. The man with the golden
How
dome.
about that robot in, I think it's called Saturn 3? The one with...
Yeah. Something's wrong on Saturn 3. I don't know what was up with Kirk Douglas in that movie. I watched a little online documentary about the making of it. Is that the one with Kirk Douglas you're talking about?
Yeah.
And he and his wife live on Saturn 3. And the crazy...
Farrah Fawcett, yes.
Yeah, Farrah Fawcett. And the nut job goes out there and...
Harvey Keitel.
Yeah, Harvey Keitel. And I was like, I watched it. And they said that Kirk Douglas was like acting really weird on stage, on set, wanting to do nude scenes or something like that. I forget what it was, but kind of weirding everybody out. Astro Boy, Gigantor, Speed Race, my favorite.
Oh, J.M. Shedlick said, how do we miss the Terminator?
Oh, yeah. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Cyberdyne and Company. I swear I want to own a robotics company called it Cyberdyne just to see how many people get the joke. I'm not sure Hal counts as a robot. He's more of a brain, kind of like Colossus. Oh yeah, Garfield. We mentioned Jaime from Get Started.
Hal 9000 was computer.
And a lot of cocaine. Okay, that was a problem. All right, guy still lived to be 100 years old. You'd be weird too if you had Farrah Fawcett. Yeah, you know what? It might have been. You know what? I think it was Dan's episode I saw that I'm talking about, Coup to Kill. I think you're right. I believe that was it. And so, well, we got about 15 minutes left. I know that Lost in Space was basically Swiss Family Robinson in space. But yeah, we mentioned Bishop from the original Alien. But and I don't know, I was just not a big fan of the movie. But the TV show recreation had a lot going for it. There were some things I didn't care for, but I know that's just because I'm kind of halfway expecting to see the old show remade, and it's a reinterpretation. But it did have a lot going for it. Great special effects. I like the aesthetic. I just think it would have been cool if they'd have just changed two little things. One, make the robot like the robot in the original, part of their original equipment. And secondly, as opposed to an alien soldier. That being said, I did like the robot as a character. But I liked the original because he's more interactive. You could have a conversation with him. But the other thing is, I think it would have been funny if they'd had Billy. It would have just been great if Billy Mummy had played Dr. Smith. I mean, he was Dr. Smith, but he played Dr. Smith the whole way through. That would have just put, I don't know. That's just me being nerdy and nostalgic. Oh, Holmes and Yo-Yo. My God. Not only Holmes and Yo-Yo, but who remembers a short-lived series called Future Cop with Ernest Borgnine and John Amos as the two LAPD officers, and they make Borgnine's partner, they give him an android. And
General Grievous wasn't a robot.
It was a living creature.
Inside of a metal shell.
And a beating heart that Obi-Wan managed to fry.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Rutger Hauer as Batty. What was Batty's first name? Wasn't William? Roy Batty. Absolutely. I had completely forgotten about the androids from. Well, are they? They're not really androids. They're replicants.
No, replicants.
So they're not really robots.
They're not robots.
12 but I will say this though, Roy Batty, the Vile Eye covered him in detail, or it was the Vile Eye, or Examinations of Evil, one of, and they did Roy Batty was a little bit more of a sympathetic character than you. He's just trying to survive, and yeah, he goes off the deep end, but you know, part of the, especially that little, and some of that at the end I think was kind of Rucker Hauer's creation. I don't think it was all scripted. I forget what the story was on that, but you know, in death he found his humanity when he saves Deckard, who's just been trying to kill him, and it's like in the last moments of his life he understands and gives his little speech, and you know, Pinocchio became a real boy. Well, hey, look, the whole idea is to come out here and have some fun. If folks are having fun, that's all that really matters. No, I think we decided, Tom, that HAL 2000 is not a robot. He's a brain like Colossus. They don't really qualify as robots. iRobot. Oh yeah, Sonny and iRobot. Tudyk's character. Oh, K2. What is it? K2S KDS 2, the one from Rogue One. K2SF. I forget his designation, but Alan Tudyk. Oh, I'm sorry. He's one of my favorites. I'll do what you say, Jen. Thank you. You know, because he said I had to.
Actually, it's about 9,000, not the 2,000.
But man, just Alan Tudyk's character as a robot in Rogue One. I tell you what, that to me that was a highlight of the movie. Just he knocks her down. You know, you are being rescued. No, Mudd's women were not robots. They were on the Venus drug. It's an Mudd that it was all the robots, and they got him back in the end. They had Alice 500. Well, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that.
How many different robots we've come up with?
Yeah, you don't appreciate just how many of them there were. You start talking about it, all of a sudden, wow, you know, more than I thought. And we have, I'm sure, as soon as we all hang up, everybody's going to go, oh, I forgot this one or that one. And, but so before we go,
what about the water heater robots from the Republic serials of the 40s?
Yeah, okay. I guess you have to count those, although they're, you know, there's a level at which you go, that's just terrible. But you know what? They are Hollywood robots, like it or not. And,
anyway,
you know, Captain Proton or whoever it is. What was that Paris's character? And, just,
Hardcore Mudd, you're done for.
I'm done with you, hardcore Fenton Mudd. Is that liquor I smell on your breath? Classic Trek, baby. Stella, shut up, Stella.
Maria.
Oh, Maria, one of the first ones, Maria from Metropolis, and they just started putting out a model of her recently. Also, by the way, did was it Monsters in Motion or no X? Which was the one that was going to do the kaiju with the internal organs?
Oh, that's
X7, Super 7. God, I can never remember their name. Well,
they have a Mecha Godzilla with internal workings.
Oh, Mecha Godzilla was internal workings. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're coming up on 9:00, and so the 3 of a kind builds due at the end of the month. I'm not going to get my B-17s done, so I'll be submitting my Jeeps and my tank, my German, my Panzers. And I want to thank Dan Monroe for coming out. I actually made a special little outro that's different than the intro because I just want to say thanks to Dan for coming out. He's a busy guy, and I'll see if we can't have him on again sometime. I think I'm going to have to buy the real version of Zoom or something, or Teams or whatever, so we don't have the time limit. But it's nice for to have a big real time YouTuber come give us some of his time because he's a busy guy. But I look forward to his next video. He's also putting out a lot of stuff, so that's really great, guys. If you haven't checked out Dan Monroe's movies, music, and mayhem, no movies, music, and monsters, it's a lot of the kind of stuff we deal with. He basically talks about the movies that make up the stuff that we tend to build models of, and science fiction, monsters, all that stuff, and other things as well. He even did one. I think he did one on Jan in a Pan. So that's the was the head that wouldn't die. What was the name of it, Steve? With Virginia Lee?
The creature that wouldn't die, the thing that wouldn't die.
The head that wouldn't die, the brain that wouldn't die, whatever it was. And right up there with Astro Zombies, baby.
That's right.
And but I love when people make movies like that. I mean, truly independent films made on tight budgets. And yeah, I know it's 2 hours of your life you never get back. But if you can't waste your time on bad B movies or C movies, then what's the point in having time? Well, I guess we'll sign off for tonight. I'll let you guys say your goodbyes, and I will loop the outro, and we'll go nighty night.
Well, thank you very much for joining in, and hopefully you had an enjoyable evening, and we look forward to doing it to you next week.
Doing it to you next week.
Yes.
We're gonna do it to you next week too. So don't be late, kid. And bring your own rope.
Maybe you should rehearse that.
Rehearse? What are you trying to get?
Start drinking.
What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do, Ken? Give us standards?
Okay, guys, this has got to be a first. We're checking out here early, but yeah, we
started early.
We started early, Ken. Sorry, you missed the staff meeting.
Somebody left me out. Who could have that been?
I didn't leave you out. It just the Teams wouldn't work for some reason. Kept saying my computer was too busy. I almost rebooted the whole computer, but I had already started the live stream. I was like, well, crap, that'll kick everybody out. So I was able to go over to Zoom in a Zoom quick hurry and get it up online. And Dan and Steve all got the bad link, and I was like, yeah, here's the new one. Try this. And the last second, it's working. Let's go live. While it's working, God knows what'll happen in the next. Anything can happen in the next 30 minutes. They don't pay me enough to do this.
Okay. Thanks for showing up, guys. You never know what's going to happen on this show, but we still appreciate you all here.
Well, Glue Troopers, once again, thanks for coming out and spending some time with us. Super, super big thanks to Dan for joining us. Hope we can have him again sometime. Take care of yourselves, guys. We'll talk to you later. And as always, model on.